How often do guys, do fans come up to you guys and sing the song to you, or sing versions of it?
All the time, in every country I've been to. And what's great is when it does good, because they start by saying, well, I'm not going to sing it. And then they sing it.
They have to, just like this group. Well, listen, we love you two. It is so great seeing you two, and you love yourselves. But you're not the only folks who have come out here today to join us to talk a little bit about the rebirth of Phineas and Ferb.
No, that's true. We have the cast. Not the entire cast, but we have a large portion.
This is a big portion. This is like a little bit of a reunion. Let's see we're slowly going to populate the list of folks coming back. So without further ado, let's bring them out right now. First up, of course, you know her as Isabella, Alison Stoner. Welcome, welcome. Of course, without this man, there is no Perry the Platypus, Dean Bradley Baker. She's, of course, our favorite one-time pop star and the mom on Phineas and Ferb, Linda Caroline Ray. She, to me, is the real hero of Phineas and Ferb. Don't tell Phineas and Ferb. It is Candace Ashley Tisdale. Welcome. Next up, as Ferb, it is David Errigo Jr. Ferb's got moves. And finally, the one and only Phineas, Vincent Martella. We got them all together, reunited, and it feels so good. This is the first time that you've all been together in a while, right?
At least since we stopped making the original run, which has been years at this point.
Yeah, Mike. Feeling my microphone.
I was wondering why Swampy was the only person that they didn't.
I just assumed that the PR people thought it was wise not to let me.
Yeah, when Swampy talks, you got to be very careful.
They obviously know him, so.
I haven't seen Ashley since my daughter's about to be 15 and you have 2 children. Yeah, that was a while.
That's a long time.
Yeah.
Well, you know, the show obviously, you all sort of started coming together in 2007. It premiered in 2008, which was a couple of years ago, I think. But everyone still looks young. No one has aged at all. Everyone looks fantastic. But nonetheless, let's look a little bit at
He's going to disprove this.
how everyone looked back then. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Wow. Dan, I have so many questions. So many hairstyles.
Does it involve my hair?
Only involves your hair.
It was an unfortunate choice.
You know, but you all looked great then, and you all look great now. Vincent, when you look at that now, and you think about the journey that this has been for you, what's it like to...
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. This has definitely been the most important thing that I've worked on. It means a lot to me that so many people are here right now, and people still love this show and these characters. And yeah, Phineas has been a part of my life longer than most things. Like, just in general, that's a really long time. It's more than half my life now. It's 17 years. That's a long time to know someone.
Yeah.
And they always tell me too long because they don't like me. But yeah, no, it's been a great.
He's
time.
always just on the verge of being fired.
It's true. It's true.
They keep you on your toes.
Yeah. That's how you handle actors.
Yeah, keep them real comfortable in their seats.
Ashley, how about you?
Oh my gosh, yeah, it's like my favorite job ever. Dan and Swampy have not changed though. Like, I mean, there are years where I'm like, they literally don't age. It's crazy.
I
But
realized there was no gray hair in that clip.
that you did change from that. But it's so funny because I literally just had a baby 6 weeks ago, and
Congratulations.
Mic drop from Swampy. My OB literally had me write to her daughter, her 17-year-old daughter, because it was so funny. She doesn't tell her kids who she works with. And I had just gone to like a mall close to the doctor, where obviously we were. And she was like, I have to tell you, my daughter was freaking out. Being like, guess who I saw at the mall today? Candace from Phineas and Ferb. And I was like, oh my God, this is so crazy. So I wrote like a little like, Mom, I said the doctor's name. I'm not gonna mention the doctor's name, but I said the doctor delivered my baby, and I gave that to her daughter, so it's pretty cool. So fans are everywhere. It's awesome.
That is amazing.
Guess who saw? Guess who I saw? Guess who I saw all of?
Literally. We're very close, me and her mom.
Well, Caroline, you've done a lot through the years. What has Phineas and Ferb meant to you, and you know, how often does it come up in day-to-day life?
It's my favorite job that I've ever had, and I've had some really, really good ones. Don't tell Sabrina. And no, you know what? It's a real gift to be on any show that makes children happy. But I didn't know that I was making all men happy, and that's who really is obsessed with the show. I love Dan and Swampy, and I always think that people are actually my children. I have called Dan how many times?
Oh, countless.
And I've just said, now he knows, and I go, I need you to talk like Dr. Doofenshmirtz into the phone now. It's usually for a charity, but I just like hand them the phone.
And sometimes I'll be in like a really nice restaurant. And Doofenshmirtz is not a character you can really do quietly. And I'll be like, okay, hold on. Curse you, pay the platypus! They look around at me from other tables. It's really nice.
My favorite thing with Caroline is she'll call us from somewhere, like she'll be at a restaurant and go, I just ran into so-and-so, big name here. They want to do the show. So Caroline is out pitching other celebrities.
I am always.
And some of our greatest guests are people that Caroline has said, I got these people, they want to do the show.
Well, and Dee, for you, this is possibly one of the most unique gigs that you've booked over the years.
Yes, it's the most amount of money for the least amount of work.
Congratulations on that.
It's a unicorn of a show in many ways.
But there are different inflections for Perry. There are different ways of
Yes, there's occasional snoring or an effort here or there. But I mean, the beautiful thing about the show is it emerged sort of perfect right out of the gate. It didn't strike me that there was really much changing about the tone and the pace and the dynamic of the characters or anything. It just kind of felt like it was perfect immediately right out of the gate, which is very rare. And I think it's a show that is so beautifully constructed, and everyone loves it so much that I think there's a timelessness to it that it'll just keep going and going.
Could you just say that, what you just said, as Perry?
As Perry.
Very concise version of that. So concise.
Now here's the unusual thing. And a lot of you, if you follow me on TikTok, have probably heard this bit. I found out in 2020 that the scientific community just discovered in 2020 that platypuses glow teal under a black light. And it's exactly the color of teal that I colored Perry the platypus just for the heck of it. And I was thinking, what else did I just make up about platypuses? And so I looked up, because when we first did this, I just said, D, can you just give me like some weird purring, chirping noise? And he was like, he did a couple. I picked one, I put it in, and when I went to go look up what platypuses actually sound like, it sounds like that.
Dan, you're a scientist, is what you are.
No, he's a
No,
witch.
I'm ahead of the science by decades. is
I
what
think
I'm
if we
saying.
make up other stuff about platypuses, we're gonna find out it's true.
Yeah, maybe we're bending reality.
Oh, yeah.
Just never show.
I think so. This is the most educational show on television as
You know,
well.
when I was in Australia, because the show is so big there, they're like, yeah, we're gonna give you a private tour. You get to hold a platypus. I'm like, great. And they're terrifying, okay? The real ones are terrifying. They have like a little thing of poison that they can shoot at you if they don't like you. And they were like, more pictures? I'm like, anyway, so thanks for that.
So Alison, are your friends still sort of conscious when they come over and say, so, Alison, what you doing?
They all do it.
Yeah.
And actually, I think one of my favorite moments earlier when the show had been out for maybe a few seasons, I was probably -3 years old at the time, and I started hearing folks approach me and say what you're doing in different languages. And that's when I knew, wow, this is a global success, because I heard a little voice behind me. It sounded similar to Isabella, and she just said, ¿Qué tú haces? And I was like, oh yeah! Yeah, so it's been really special, and to everyone's point, this truly has been my favorite job, and I'm not just saying that because I want to stay hired, but it doesn't hurt.
It's got to be great for all of you too to be back, to be back in the vocal studio and to revisit these characters.
And to make sure we can still hit that pitch, because that's an octave. But we find it. Up there where Mariah Carey lives.
Nice. Well, David, you're the newest member of this family, and what was that like to get to know these folks?
It's so hard for me to actually talk about it, which is weird. I've got one of my best friends in the world from it. They have treated me like family from moment one. And I feel like I'm the luckiest Phineas and Ferb fan in the world. Because I get to be up here today doing this in front of you guys with everyone. And so, it's awesome.
That's really, I've seen it for years. There's something really special about this group and of course this show as well. And something else that's been really amazing over the years is the guest stars, the voices who have come and who have wanted to play in the tri-state area as well. And so we have a video of a little sizzle of some of the guest stars we've seen in the past. Why don't we take a look? So who have been your favorites over the years in working with and who've said yes?
There have been some really fun things where people have come to us and asked us to do it. A lot of times Caroline will just find somebody on the street in a costume and we'll get to do it. But I remember Ben Stiller came in and to the studio where we were at, and they had a Phineas and Ferb sign up, and he was like, "Wait, do they do Phineas and Ferb here?" And they like he wanted to do the show and approach us about it, which was really nice.
Yeah, how about you, Swampy? You got some favorites?
Well, the Ben Stiller one was funny because he came in to do a character called Cockapoo. Very mature, sophisticated humor. But his wife at the time, Christine, was in there, and our voice casting person said, maybe we should get her to play the wife. So we'll just see if we can find a time to ask her, just sort of be cool,
yes.
And we'll play it. And I went, yeah, really cool. And I said, hey, Christine, you want to do Cockapoo's wife? She's an obnoxious shrew. And she went, oh my God, I'd love to. I could see our casting person, oh my God, that's not what I had in mind.
By the way, I think we can't move on without first talking about your hat in that clip as well that we just saw, Swampy. That was amazing.
Good hat.
It's one of my better hats.
It was one of your better hats.
Yeah, no, I've got a few, but that's a darn good one.
Well, one of the great things about the show coming back is I remember doing a panel with you guys in 2015 when the show ended, and it was a sad moment, a show that I watched my kids grow up on, and the show that was beloved, I remember as a packed Comic-Con hall back in the day, and then it went away for a few years. So, Vincent, what did you think at that moment? Was it sort of like oh, this was great, maybe one day we'll revisit it, or what were your thoughts on whether or not you'd ever get to play Phineas again?
Yeah, deep. I spiraled. It's just been a 10-year long No, I
We had to go pull him out of the
pull
gutter.
me out of the gutter, literally out of the gutter.
Took all of us.
Yeah. No. I to be honest, I didn't think that we'd be back. I mean, up until we started doing the feature that we did in 2020. I mean, we started working on that in 2018. But we always kind of heard rumors that something might happen just because we have such a fantastic fan base for the show. But it's really hard to believe that something like that is going to happen, especially once you finish the project. It is pretty rare that you get a chance to come back and do new seasons of the show.
It was like 7 or 8 years.
Yeah, it's quite a long time of not doing it, and so I mean, I know I can speak for everyone up here is that we'll do it forever. Like we love doing this show, and so yes, please.
Yeah, that puts us in a real good negotiation.
Yeah, sorry. Well, I mean,
We'd sign a 20-year.
We talked about this,
speak to
Vincent.
their lawyers. Yeah.
You seem very close to almost saying you would do it for free, but I believe you stopped yourself.
Yeah, I'm not allowed to say that. Yeah. Yeah, no, there's union rules.
I actually pay to be in the show.
Yeah.
How about Ashley, for you? The idea of it coming back. Starting with the Candace movie, which was a fantastic. Shout out in 2020. That was a movie that came right at the right time too. We were at home during the pandemic, and it was just such a great respite from what was going on. And to see, Candace saved the day, like I mentioned earlier. But for you, Ashley, what's that been like in sort of seeing the show come back and getting to continue this?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I said, it's my favorite job. I love Dan and Swampy. It's funny because it feels like it never left because we did that movie. And but then, I remember when they were like, we're starting it back up. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. However, this last season, I was pregnant the entire time. So a lot of the screams, every single time it got to a scream, I would just be like, you have enough from me. You have 17 years of screams. You can find one. So, I was like, I'm not screaming this time. I'm going to scare the baby. But it's literally like my favorite character because I get just to be crazy. It's so much fun. So I really let the crazy out, and I love this cast, and it's just so cool to be here 17 years later. It's awesome.
Well, definitely. And one of the great things too is the music and the amount of music that you all get to perform and some of the most clever stuff that you've done over the years. We have a little sizzle montage of some of the music of Phineas and Ferb. Let's check it out. The most educational show on television because this room knows what you call the end of a shoelace. This room would kill at Jeopardy because of you two.
In fairness, the song did say, "Don't forget it."
And no one has.
I remember when we pitched that show to the writers, they looked very confused, and I finally found two that would take it. And I said, if we do this right, for the first time in the history of the world, there will be an entire generation of people that knows what an aglet is.
Yes.
Which means we've ruined that joke for an entire...
That's right. It used to be a joke that nobody knew what, you have to say that cellophane thing at the end of your shoelaces, and now people know what it is.
You're doing the Lord's work here. So let's talk a little about the next 104 days of summer vacation. So what can you tell us about, I know you've dropped some hints. It is another summer, so...
It's the following summer.
So...
Phineas and Ferb are going to make a bookshelf.
And we're going to kill off a main character.
So just check out who's on stage and who's missing. Figure it out.
Uh-oh.
So are
No, we're not allowed to tell you a lot about it, but we're having just the time of our lives doing it. I was a little worried when they wanted to do more because we did 222 episodes and 7-hour-long specials and 2 movies. We'd done a lot of stories, and I was afraid that the writer's room was going to be them pitching us ideas and me and Swampy going, no, we did that second season, we did that third season, now we did that first season. And that hasn't been the case at all. That comes up occasionally. Somebody will pitch a a lair entrance or something that we've already done, and sometimes we have to look it up on Wiki to see where it was.
We have to look it up on Wiki a lot. Thank Wiki.
But we
so
have
much.
had just the best time doing this. It's about half the room is writers from the original run, and half the room are young writers who grew up with the show,
Including Olivia Olson.
including Olivia Olson.
Now, right?
Very talented Olivia Olson.
Yeah, she plays my daughter in the show, and she grew up with the show, and now she's a writer, and we've got her in the writers' room. She's doing spectacular.
For me, one of the most fun things about doing more of these is we have the freedom now to go to explore characters more fully that we didn't get to the first time, and it's like, oh yeah, we can kind of just do a whole episode about different folks.
Yeah.
And it's really kind of freeing.
It feels very new and fresh, but still feels like the show. Because my goal is that if you were watching the last season and you started watching this season, it wouldn't even bump you at all. That we just want to give you the show that you love and just make more of it. But it feels somehow a little bit elevated because there's so much energy in the room now.
Are there things that maybe we've learned about these characters, or we do learn in this coming season about these characters that we haven't seen before?
Well, yeah, but we're not going to probably talk about it.
I was literally about to say something, but I'm glad you stopped me. I was like, there's this really great episode.
There's a team of people back there telling us things we shouldn't say.
Yes.
Exactly. It's
But it's going to be really fun. There are stories that we've been wanting to tell for a long time that we never got around to. There's things that we were like, hey, we've never done this kind of an episode that we had tried to do a couple times, and we finally figured out a way to do it that worked within our universe. And there's a certain alien that is making a reappearance.
Alf? Is it Alf?
It is not Alf.
it's not out.
It's not Alf, and it's
Spoiler.
not T. So, but we're having a great time.
Yeah. And the music?
We're
No music this time.
we're saying no more songs. We didn't think that really worked well.
We've written somewhere over 500 songs. I don't know, the number is astronomical, so we said we're done.
Yes. So no.
And then we reconsidered.
Can I ask a question? How did the squirrels in the pants become so, massive?
That's that was a weird time for us. And TikTok has been great because there's been so many songs from the show that there was a whole dance that people did to I got records on my fingers and I just can't stop. And there was if you type "busted" from Phineas and Ferb into TikTok, you'll get literally hundreds of thousands of videos where people are doing that choreography that I drew on Post-it notes in 2006. And then the squirrels in my pants was probably the biggest of those trends on TikTok. There was a month where every morning I would get, I'd start scrolling through TikTok, and the first thing that would come up, oh, Jimmy Fallon and Reese Witherspoon are lip syncing to Squirrels in My Pants. Oh, Lizzo is lip syncing to Squirrels in My Pants on stage in front of a sold out crowd. Oh, Michael Bublé. It was like every morning there was some new person doing that.
It's got to be wild for all of you to see that and to have those songs still in your heads after all this time. These are the catchiest songs.
And the songs we're writing for the new season may be our favorites that we've written so far. I'm just so happy with how it's going.
Well, we premiered at Variety.com earlier today the first look at the teaser key art for the new season.
Oh, yeah?
So as we continue to roll out, so you can take a look at that, at the teaser art. It gives us a little hint of where things are going. The band's back. Getting the band back together. So coming next year, we're finally going to see these new episodes. So we also...
People keep asking me online, when are the new ones, when is the new premiere of the new season? And I just feel like, I don't know. I'm not in charge of that.
I'd love that everybody thinks that we're the ones who get to make that decision,
Yes,
but I
we
can
don't,
assure you,
we don't.
we don't.
We make it, we give it to them. But they've told us it'll be in 2025.
Is coming very, very soon.
Yeah.
So that is very exciting. But we have a little special treat for everyone now.
We do.
This is the clip. So why don't you
All right,
introduce
so
it?
we have a clip from the very first episode. We wanted to sort of announce the new season as, you know, as celebrative a way as we could. I just made up that word. I don't think it's a word. And so we wrote what I feel like is a very quintessentially Phineas and Ferb song, because it's the first day of the next summer. And in doing that, I don't have as much time in my schedule because I'm also doing Hamster and Gretel, which you should watch on and so I didn't have time to sort of choreograph it out and stuff. But I happen to know choreographers now through TikTok. I know Costin Mayer, if any of you are following that. And I just called them up because they had expressed interest at one point in choreographing for animation. They were like, does that even happen? Is that something that people can do? And I said, well, sometimes. We don't usually have the time in our schedule, but I figured out a way to give them time in the schedule to choreograph it, and they turned it around in like a day. And so this is the musical number, and when you see people in the corners, there's some little live action corners of them actually doing the poses that I then gave to the animators and said, here, hit these poses at this time. So you'll get to see how it all works out. But this is the first full color screening of the opening song.
Excellent. Let's take a look. All right, well, now's the time to turn it over to all of y'all. So if you want to line up and start asking some questions, we're going to kick off the Q&A portion in a second.
Just yes, no, we want to move it along.
Just so you know, that's a temporary voice at the beginning. That's my voice as
Yeah, I heard that too. I was like,
that's
not my voice.
We
are not replacing Vincent's voice.
Well, I just figured Phineas went through puberty during the...
It was actually me doing Dan's voice,
Yeah.
Vincent's voice. Yeah.
He does a spot on me.
All right, why don't we kick things off?
Hi, my name is Mike. I did not grow up watching this show, but my fiance did, and she's making me go through every episode with her, and I'm enjoying it immensely. We're almost done with season 2, but the question I have is, for the writers that you hired that grew up watching the show, if you grow up watching a show and then you get hired to write a show as an adult, is what you're writing fan fiction?
Yes.
Yes.
What advice do you give them to not make it too fanficky or to lean into the fanfiction?
The best advice is don't screw it up.
Yes. I imagine it feels a little like fan fiction to them because they did grow up watching it. There's at least one writer, this was like their favorite show of all time, and he's the one we go to whenever we need to know when something happened. Hey, oh, when did we do this? Sunny? And he always has like an encyclopedic knowledge of what's going on.
I think the biggest thing when you get people to come in like that is making sure they feel comfortable throwing ideas out. I think it would be really easy to come into that writer's room and feel intimidated if you were a big fan of the show, and the job is to make sure that you can say any dumb stuff you want. Because that's really our job, is to sit in a room and say really dumb stuff and still some of it sticks.
Thanks so much for your question. Over here now.
Thank you.
Well, I'd like to first off say thank you to every single one of you, because this show means more to me than I can possibly express at this microphone, but I'll very briefly give you the rundown. I bonded with my parents over this show. I met my best friend through this show. She's back there. And I just wanted to ask, and this is first come, first serve for all the voice actors in the cast, how does one get into voice acting?
I have an answer for that.
I can't wait for it.
Go to my website, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com.
Thank you.
It's a free site. Everything that I have learned about being an actor and about storytelling and creative entrepreneur, and especially voice acting, is on that site. I go on and on and on about it for free, and it's there at iwanttobeavoiceactor.com.
It's where I direct people that ask me.
I was
But if you want to give Dee a couple bucks, just
Or
give
you
us a
could,
thanks.
or you could work in animation as a storyboard artist and a writer and a director for 20 years and then sell your own show and hire yourself, which is how we did it.
Hey, Ferb has a word.
Well, I was gonna say, I was taking a clinic with Dee like 6-7 years ago in Los Angeles, and he said one of my favorite things that I've heard him say about his website, which was, go to my website, iwanttobeavoiceactor.com, and if you can't remember that, no you don't.
Can I just? Okay, I have one. I, as a kid, literally in the 2nd grade in Canada, my music teacher said something like about my voice and made me totally self-conscious. And then I hated my voice. And when I started as a comedian, you're supposed to play back your tape, and this is what I would hear. That's all I heard. Like, that's what I sounded like. And then I thought, okay, I'm gonna embrace this. Was that incredibly loud? Sorry. But the thing that I hated the most about myself personally, I actually have made the biggest living from. So embrace whatever your quirk is. That's my thing. Okay?
Thank you. Dee, I'll slip you a 5 after the show, all right?
All right, over here, please. Oh, Alison, do you
I
want
just
to?
want to say really quickly, I want to sing your praises just a little bit more. Sometimes, I haven't told you this, but I tell a lot of other people, sometimes I just go to your website and I play people your demos because you have this amazing collection of biophonies, all the sounds that you could find in every layer of creature in the sky, on the ground, and it's truly phenomenal. Dee is, everyone in this room probably already knows, but just to sing your praises after you go to iwanttobeanactor.com.
I want to be a voice actor.com.
iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Listen to his demos, because they're exquisite.
Thank you.
Good advice. All right, over here.
Hi, my name is Hannah. First of all, Vincent Martella, you're stunning at New York Comic Con.
Wow. Oh, he's stunned. Thank you. I appreciate that. For everyone who doesn't know this, a couple of days ago was my birthday. Thank you. And I say that because Dan did not know it was my birthday. But I stunned on my birthday. Pop Crave tweeted that I was stunning on my birthday. And it was a very big deal for me that I stunned. So thank you for reminding everyone that I stunned.
So the promo of the tagline, it reminded me of my favorite episode, You for Getting the Band Back Together. It's not only my favorite Phineas and Ferb episode, it's my favorite episode of television of all time.
Aha, Sopranos.
Take that.
So I was wondering if you guys have any cool memories about making that episode.
That was a fun episode because we had a general idea for it and we gave it to 2 board artists who started boarding it. And when we saw the first storyboards, we realized that Danny was based on me, and Swampy was based on Swampy, and Bobby
The clue was in the name.
on our writer named Bobby Gaylor,
Who voices Buford.
voices Buford. And it was just funny to see us in it. It was like, oh, this is really fun. And then just the songs were so much fun. And it like had one of the biggest emotional arcs we had done at that point. And like Phineas and Candace, Candace putting her arm around Phineas at the end. It's just such a sweet moment. And I love that the kids were trying to, were acknowledging that their parents have a relationship and helping out with it instead of, poo-pooing that.
I still cite that when they ask me what my favorite episode, I'll often say that one. For me, it was the first time we saw Candace, Phineas, and Ferb not competing. They were working together, and that sweet moment to me was kind of everything. And now I'm getting emotional. I really wanted that moment between them to make sure people knew that they were at each other's, throats. They were fighting and all this, but deep down they loved and cared about each other. And to me, I thought that was great to come together for Mom and Dad.
Yeah, no, that's nice. We've seen that through the years in episodes when they actually do support each other. It's lovely. Okay, question over here.
Thank you.
Hi. So first off, I just want to say thank you just for creating the show. I went through an incredibly rough childhood, and I specifically remember me and my sister always being like, oh my gosh, new episode of Phineas and Ferb is on, like, we gotta go watch the TV. So I just wanted to thank you for that. But my question to you guys is that you are in a very unique position in continuation of this show, or quote unquote a reboot. You didn't just have one finale, you had a future finale as well. So what was the decision to make the new season start off from when all the cast was like kids or teenagers? And then for the voice actors yourselves, what's it like now having to voice the same old character 10 plus years later? How does it feel?
Oh, but it's not set 10 years in the future. It's set in the very next summer. The only thing we're changing about the characters at all in the design, I don't know if you noticed this. Does anybody know what was different about Phineas?
I noticed it.
He's got one extra stripe. Sure. That's it. But
He's
we
grown
did
that much.
But we did do that episode
I have not.
of season 4 where they were 10 years older, and that was really fun for everybody.
All right,
I feel
question
like
over here.
my voice hasn't changed, to be honest. I don't think any of our voices have changed. Yeah,
I think it's fun because now my daughter is your age.
Yeah, that's cool.
So it's fun. I just,
Yeah. I mean, I was like, I think 18 when I got hired. So I
Me-
was
me
already, like, what?
I said me too.
So I was already playing younger. So I think at this point, it's more of just like, sometimes Dan will be like, can you just sound a little bit, like, get a little bit higher in your voice range? And I'm like, oh, okay. But I think it's so much fun. It's like the best playing younger.
Does your child ever call you mom? Like, has she heard you yet? Has she watched it?
She's heard it. She's not watched it. But she has heard it, and she says, "Mommy," and I'm like, "Yeah, there's that crazy mommy."
All right, over here.
Hi, I'm Lori. First of all, thank you all so much for being here. This show is my whole childhood. I remember, like, this is a silly question. Me and my friends would always, like, wonder why it was 104 days. I don't know how often you get this question.
All the time.
Yeah.
And it was one of those things that somebody said in the room. We didn't fact check it, but it sounded really good to sing, so we just sort of kept cruising forward. It wasn't until much later we went, no.
Nobody has 104 days. I don't know why that was. But somebody sounded so authoritative when I was like, does anybody know how many days there are on summer vacation? Somebody said, oh, we just had to look that up. There's 104. And I was like, okay. And that's how the song got written.
I don't know what universe that is, but there
It's
you
the
go.
Tri-State School District. So they have an interesting calendar.
Yeah, in their universe, there's 104 days of
Those teachers are efficient.
Over here.
Thank you. Hello. Wow. I feel like I've been waiting for this moment forever. Honestly, I think I would just ask why Disney hasn't sent y'all out here like earlier. But I'll ask a real question. Obviously, there's a lot of like love and passion in this room, and I think everybody here wants to see more of everybody back. But there's also a fair amount of fans, like grew up with the show that also maybe have concerns or a bit skeptical. They just don't really know what to expect. If you had like an opportunity to speak to one of them and maybe try to like assuage those fears, or like just like convince them to give it a shot, how would you go about that?
To give them a shot to
give the new seasons a shot, basically.
Don't be afraid.
Don't be afraid.
Trust us.
Don't be afraid. I feel like I'm trying to keep the show pretty much the way we did it before, so if you like the first seasons of Phineas and Ferb, you'll love this.
It's going to feel seamless watching next.
That's what we're.
We love these characters. We love Danville as much, I'm sure, as anybody in this room or anybody out there.
Yeah.
And we're going to
They're
take
like children to us.
We're going to take good care of them, but we're also not going to be too gentle with them. Our job is to push them out of shape and put them into different situations. But we've taken pretty good care of them so far.
Guys, real quick, I think Doof and Major Monogram need to give the pitch.
Okay, so you should watch this show because I am now the star.
I'd like to assure you on no uncertain terms that he is not the star. It is Perry the Platypus or Agent P. Because he stands for good, not evil.
That's funny. I thought you were going to go with Phineas and Ferb because they're in the title.
As the head of the OWCA, I can assure you Perry the Platypus or Agent P is in fact the star. Sorry.
I want to chime in a little bit because I think I've got a somewhat unique position up here on the stage in that I was a fan first. So if there's concerns from the fandom, I will tell you as a fan, These scripts are awesome. They are so awesome. I feel spoiled every time I get one in my inbox. As we know, Ferb is not super loquacious. He's not exactly chatty, but I still read, I don't just read my line. I find the entire script, I read the entire script because it's worth it and because I love it. And they're doing such a fantastic job. So to the fearful fans, to anybody who's worried that it's not being well handled, I will tell you, fan first. These new scripts are amazing.
And first, all right. Let's go over here.
My name is Benjamin. I'm a big fan of the show since middle school. And my mom and I both wondered this, mainly for Jeff and Swampy. Where exactly did you get the idea for Klimpaloon?
It was one of our writers.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, John Barry, one of our writers, pitched this, I remember he was going through the storyboard and just pitching it, and he said, and then there's Klimpaloon, the old-timey bathing suit.
Magical old-timey bathing
The
suit.
magical old-timey bathing suit that lives in the Himalayas. And we said, what? And he repeated, and we said, all right.
One of my favorite things about doing this show, especially for characters like that and things that really make people laugh, is 90% of the time, it's not something Dan or I thought of. And the great joy of that is that we created a space where so many people felt that they could be creative and additive to this. And all we really had to do is sit back, laugh at it first, and make sure that it didn't violate our world or our characters. And so, Klimpaloon, the giant floating baby head, meat, all this stuff.
A zebra that calls Candace Kevin.
These are things that people brought to us, and were not our ideas. And that I take great pride that we did not have to be the source of all of that.
That's a lot of fun. All right, yeah, over here.
First off, I just want to say it's an honor to be talking to and ask a question to you guys. My question is, what is the origin of the whole Doof-Perry conflict? How did you come up with that concept?
Well, we wanted to have, like Swampy and I, when we were writing on a show called Rocko's Modern Life we would always try to throw some action scene or some musical scene into there because we think those are the things that people remember more. And so we wanted to have an action bit to the thing, and I don't know how it became a platypus.
I have no idea.
That was probably the first thing we
Platypuses are
said,
funny.
and it made us laugh, is probably what it was.
Well, it certainly worked.
Thanks. So unfortunately, we have time for just one more question. This went by so
We'll make it a
fast.
good one, no pressure.
No pressure at all. My name's Melina, and I've never really stopped watching the show, nor do I think I've really started watching the show ever. My big question is, how do all of you feel about the fact that so many children's first introduction to a flip phone is Phineas and Ferb?
To what?
A flip phone.
Flip phone.
Candace's.
Oh, because they don't make those anymore.
They don't, no.
They do.
They do. You just can't. It's very, very hard to get.
They're smartphones.
But I don't know. I think it just we tried not to date the show in a lot of ways, but technology just keeps rolling forward so fast that if you put whatever's at the time we did that was the phone that everybody had. And so I think it's fun that they can see that and go, hey, Mom, Dad, what is that? And he's like, well, that's what phones used to look like back in the early days.
Thank you.
I had a flip phone for a really long time, okay? They're very good phones, that's all I'm saying.
They were very handy to have back in the day. Closing words for the two of you as we look forward to the return of Phineas and Ferb in 2025.
I just want to say thank you to all of you and everybody everywhere who's been watching this show and rewatching this show. And I think that we're doing a new season that you are going to absolutely love, and we can't wait for you to see it and sort of to be out there and have people see it.
You guys loving this show has given me the opportunity to have the best job in the entire world. And I've done lots of jobs, and it doesn't get any better than this. And I've said this before, if everything I do from here on out is an absolute failure, I don't care.
Yeah.
Because you guys being here and the stories we hear Most people don't get to go through their life and know if they've had any kind of a positive impact on the world. And we all sitting up here know that the work we've done, having fun doing it, has had an impact on so many people's lives. So I'm done. This has been great, and as long as they'll let me play in the sandbox with these people, I'm the luckiest guy in the world.
Words of my fans forever. Get ready for the new season of Phineas and Ferb coming in 2025. Disney Plus.
I have a question. From Vincent Martella, Errigo Jr., Alison Stoner, and Ashley Tisdale. Tell us about the new season in your voices of Phineas, Ferb, Isabella, and Candace.
What? Honestly, if you're gonna break the rules, that's the way to do it.
Yeah, here's what I'll say.
Third, I know what we're gonna do today. We're gonna make more seasons of Phineas and Ferb.
Sounds good to me.
Mom, Phineas and Ferb are doing another season.
All right, thank you so much for coming, and thank you to the cast.
Thank you.
Phineas and Ferb.
Vacation is here.